Thank you, sir. The gentleman from Nevada, Mr. Horsford, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to the ranking member. I was glad to see the large-scale investments in taking care of our service members in President Biden's FY24 budget by increasing service member compensation, launching universal pre-kindergarten at all Department of Defense education activity schools, and continuing to combat sexual assault and harassment in the services. We are looking forward to taking care of those who protect us. Secretary Austin, thank you for your service. I noted also in the budget an increase in the budget for suicide prevention programs, and that you recently stood up a working group to begin the implementation of the Suicide Prevention and Response Independent Review Committee. Do you have a sense for whether you will have the right resources to implement those recommendations as soon as practicable?
I do, and this is something that we've invested in year after year. We'll continue to invest in it. I think the mental health challenges are a significant part of this, and we'll do everything we can to improve in terms of access and the quality of mental health care that's being provided as well. But I do think it's important to continue to invest in it. So.
Great. Thank you. And Secretary Austin, as you know, every day our military grows more diverse, and I believe it is critically important to support policies that ensure our forces can work as a cohesive team, and that means addressing disparities that affect our military service members of color and our women service members. The Defense Department recently conducted a stand down to address extremism within the ranks. How would you assess the effectiveness of that effort? What are the lessons learned that can be applied for future stand downs? And General Milley, with the lack of propensity to serve among America's youth, how is the Department of Defense making sure that we are not missing the mark when talking about recruitment with women and with young people of color?
So I continue to make the point that 99.9% of our troops are focused on the right thing each and every day, and they're actually focused on accomplishing their mission and being ready to accomplish their mission if they're called out to do something. And so when we focused on, for a very short period of time, 2 hours or so per unit on this issue, we not only focused on how to recognize extremist behavior and what the existing policies were and that we had on the books that addressed this issue, because we did have policies that covered this. But we also focused on the value of service and why we are serving, and the importance of sticking to our values. So because of that, I've had numerous commanders tell me that, the ability to kind of talk to their units and interact with their units in small group and talk about some of these issues was very valuable. Now, once that 2 hours was over, again, they're on to the mission. This is not an effort to root out, any kind of specific person. This is just to make sure that our units, our living environments, remain healthy and safe for people to work in.
Thank you. General?
So on the propensity to serve, about 9% of America's youth, and I say youth, it's 18 to 25 is the demographic. We're looking at about 9% of propensity to serve, about 23% qualify to serve without a waiver. So the population pool is relatively small to begin with. And of course, there's other competitive things out there with job markets and so on and so forth. What we know statistically is that the propensity to serve increases exponentially with contact. So if recruiters get out in contact, but not just recruiters. We know that about 80-some-odd% or so, high 70s, of those of us in uniform today also have family members in uniform. So in essence, the all-volunteer force over the course of 50 years has become a family business, and we're in contact with each other, and people who know the military join the military. And then when they're in the military, they stay in the military. So you got 50% or 50-year high in retention. So contact, outreach. So if you're in charge of a camp, post, or station, don't just deal with the local community, get beyond that. Go out 100 miles. If you're at Fort Hood, get to Dallas, and so on and so forth. So we've got to make we've got to help the American people become familiar
Gentleman's
with the
time has
military.
expired.
Thank you. I yield.
Chair